Alright then, welcome to my second stream of the Book of Hours. I am a mostly harmless obelisk, and I've only started streaming just recently. I like horror, games, movies, same with mystery, thrillers, fantasy, and I even try to find some time to do some reading as well. I already started the Book of Hours yesterday, and I'm going to continue exploring the Hush House. Let's begin. Welcome back, librarian. Everything is remembered. Hush House endures. Alright, let's see where we were. It was just about the end of day. Alright, it's noted that we have... Okay, a lot of nectar we'll be looking for. Heart, grail, nectar, knife. Okay. I'll have to work with it. Oh, right, and I was trying to cure my tryst despairing. Hopefully I'm able to do that. Unfortunately, we only have one bed set up, or about to be set up. That will limit what we're able to do to heal it. Camp. This is a safe place for me now, to the extent that dreams are safe. Let's take a quick look at curing a malady. I could cure this malady with bed rest, something suitable to drink, and enough of a relevant aspect. So tryst itself says cured with sky, and unfortunately this bed doesn't allow for things sky aspect to be added to its slots. That means that we'll have to find something with 5 sky and an additional aspect of one of these. This is difficult. And at the very least, something that will have to wait for the next day. And the sunny weather we just got cannot be added. That makes this probably something that will be out of our reach for the time being. I may just have to live with being down tryst. Oh well. Speaking of, Sunny had lantern and sky aspect. We can use lantern to unlock one of the floors. And that's our only option for that. That's something we could use the rector for. But it will cost money. I'll make some money at the tavern as well. And let's see if there's any reading that can be done. That's something we were looking into yesterday. This one will require Sky to 4. Winter 6. I guess I put those on that shelf because those are the ones I'll be most likely able to read. Once I get access to Knock, it looks like I'll have quite a lot of books to read. And I'll start with unwrapping this. Okay. And we'll talk to the rector about the sun. Interesting. Oh, I see. That's the wrong one. Yes, I cannot heal at the tavern. And the rector's ready to help us with the Long Tower, 2nd floor. Freezing air, even tendrils of fog, drift from the tower top. I should probably seek help from someone who knows the local traditions for dealing with restless spirits. Yes, the 2 books we just unwrapped are unlikely to be readable soon. And I suppose if we'll do nothing else with it, we'll go for some beach combing for health. Alright, we got some mackerel, and that's about it. Don't know how much I would trust a mackerel we found beachcombing, but I don't know, maybe we canned it ourselves after going fishing. Who knows? Ah, right, the room we just opened up. Long Tower, Solomon's quarters. Generally reckoned the chilliest room in the house, the Long Tower was usually called the Winter Tower, until Julian Cowsley Magus, Epistolar, reputed Long, dwelt here briefly in the 17th century. Solomon Husher was the second known to sleep in the room. Evidently, they didn't mind the cold. And Long being a proper noun here. You can guess that that has some special meaning in the lore. Let's see. Which it does. The first 3 possible endings to Cultist Simulator were about becoming along a sort of mystical rank that confers immortality, among other things. Guest bed, Solomon. Julian Crowsley and Solomon Husher, both great sages of winter, slept in this bed, although not simultaneously. No one, the story runs, has ever managed a serene night's sleep in it since. So about curing our tryst, this does not seem to be actually a better option at all. We really do have to start reading books and gaining new skills to deal with it. Above the bed, we have a tapestry, the foundation of the sun. Long ago in this country, one did not build a church without first sacrificing a white bull to the sun in rags. Solomon Husher brought this tapestry with him from, well, wherever it was that Solomon came from. Let's take a minute to focus in on the one book it looked like we had a good chance of reading, not that one. Alright, so this requires 6 winter. We have a skill with 3 winter, and a soul with 2 winter, so we're only 1 away. That's not bad. So we can add tools or inks or memories to add winter. We know that Mr. K can give a memory with winter, and we can also get one by throwing something away into the ocean. What could we throw into the ocean without worrying too much? I do wish to not just sacrifice all the furniture in the Hush House. I like it at least looking a little decorated. I suppose these mackerels will have to go back into the sea. And in the meantime, let's recruit Mr. K. Good. Memory loss. Exactly what I was looking for. So that's quenching, quelling, whist, loss. Now, unfortunately, opening up that room doesn't give us extra opportunities for exploration elsewhere. Mr. K, if I remember, specializes in winter, which we might be able to do something with here. And was it sky, I believe? Yes. But unfortunately, there's no sky available for opening up rooms. I have an idea. With this memory foresight, did we need forge for anything? No, we don't. So for our memories, we have... sorry there. For our memories, we have forge, lantern, sky available. So we might actually be able to read this book here. Oh. We have the possibility for reading multiple books after we read this one. We'll see. Speaking of, the book that we're reading is On the White. Solomon Husher writes, perhaps allegorically of winter, and its long, slow, doomed romance with the sun. The epigraph is, sunset at noon. On closer inspection, the work seems to be a theory of aesthetics, or perhaps a set of warnings about the dangers of painting. And I believe while we're waiting for that, we can make use of... we cannot make use of Mr. K to unlock the smithy. Well then. Lastly, Husher writes distractedly about his suspicion of colors and the yearning for death. He hints at a great work he has envisaged or begun, where the palest of paintings will enthrall the world. He returns again and again to certain compelling phrases which he claims are the secret words of winter. And that is another reference to one of the DLC endings of Cultist Simulator. This gives us a perhaps useful memory. Regret. Every choice has its shadow. I think I can make use of this, and unfortunately the lesson it gave us was quenching and quellings again. It really wishes me to level that up quite a lot. I will look for yet another thing to throw in the ocean. Yes. A potted plant. Goodbye, plant. And the reason for that is we will need whist at... unfortunately, I used up the last of my whist. I guess I will have to spend some money to recover it. I don't know how much a tuppence is. Rest and refreshment. Summer. It is summer. I am sitting on a bench outside the Sweet Bones, eating crumbly cheese in nettle wrappings in good black rye bread, soaking up the sun. All right. Good, we got another loss, which means once our whist is recovered, we will be able to study quenching and quellings up to the 3rd level. I think, if I did the math right. Oh good, it looks like I did. Excellent, excellent. And you know something I neglected to check? Sacralimier has moth aspect. I think we have a moth book, which is not too difficult to read. Eventually, I will find a better place with more shelves so that I can actually organize all of these books correctly by the aspect I need to read them. That will be nice. There we go. And on the white is already red. I will have to try and remember that we can go back to it for a memory that gives winter, especially winter 2. That will be very helpful. I've used up all my elements of souls. I have this coughing maker doing nothing useful for me. And on to the next day. Now, as you might be able to tell, I actually play a little conservatively with this game in terms of using the pause button often when making decisions. I probably do it more than I need to for this game, but part of that is being trained by Cultist Simulator, where you actually have to be very proactive in the pause button usage in order to survive. You know, it's strange. I assumed that the Rector would help me unlock the smithy, but I was wrong. We actually need... I'm not sure who else. Let's see if the Rector can help us with any of these rooms now that I have him. Moon and Moth are 2 that would be helpful. let's load him up with some of what we can and search for either 2 moon or 2 moth worth of items. So if you can't tell, I am hovering over the moon symbol to highlight all of the moon objects in game. Aha, so yes. The Reverend accepts these types of items: tools, which we have no tools that help us right now, sustenance, candles, memories, beverages, elements of the soul. So we can give him +1 moon from this candle here, +1 moon from this water, but unfortunately we can't get him up to 4. This would get him up to 4. We gave him this beverage instead. Alright, that's our plan. At the Sweet Bones, we can use Fete to do fortune telling. I've garnered enough mystique to tell fortunes for pennies. Undignified, perhaps, for the librarian of Hush House, but times are hard. Alright, now the Rector can help open Grand Descent, ground floor. The stairs here are clear, but the air is thick with old magics. I should move carefully, and I should not go alone. Still no sign of any fire. Why then was the house abandoned? The fortunes I tell may be true, and they may be real. The money is, at least, real. In the Grand Ascent. The staircase that served as the spine of the house. Baron Walter's great project, executed by Master Mason Gregory Wheelock. So one of the rather difficult mysteries to solve here in Hush House is what to do with these. You can see places to put busts or statues here. In this room, the first through fourth? Or was it fifth? Yes, first through fifth, Baron Brankrag. And we must use clues from reading the rooms and the books to determine who those were out of all of these people in the house. Perhaps I'll work on that mystery sometime later. We'd have to unlock much more to actually finish. Ah, this is fortunate. Rain gives grail and nectar. And we need nectar for a lot of things. Yes, even with just +1 nectar, we can unlock one of the rooms. Unfortunately, none of the people we've unlocked so far have any nectar, so I'll throw a tiny amount into the tavern. And we'll see who we could possibly get. A barber who has moth and a little bit of rose. I don't think those were options for unlocking anything. Yes, not much we can do with unlocking a new room of Hush House yet. So instead I'll invite Mr. K over to just keep talking about him to generate memories, and hopefully we can open up a book. Or sorry, read a book, not open. Unfortunately, because the writing desk is not suitable for moth, there's limited options for what we can do. So that book is unlikely to be solved. Something else we can do. Okay, this is one of the other uses of workstations. We can use skills with an element of soul and some other things to create items. Here we can craft a Gynagru. It's still a kind of possibility. And here we can use Sacralimia. But we don't have suitable elements of the soul for doing anything with it. We're very limited right now because we haven't read many of the books. Solace is good, because we needed heart for several things. Okay, 3 of heart is not bad. Can we collect 1 more heart worth of items? It looks like it. Alright, we can give him some water. And then we can give him that solace, and he'll be able to open up a room. The Gyna grew. The surface of the substance is difficult to resolve, almost as if it wasn't there. If Grey Dawn oil were drinkable. And let's see here. It has winter aspect. It's a liquid, a beverage, a restorative, intoxicating. We can frankly ignore cooking ingredient as an aspect. That is something for the DLC, which I do not have. Weed-choked garden. From what I can make out of the garden beyond, it must have been very peaceful, but now it's neglected and overgrown. And we'll put some of these books away. All right. It is now Physic Garden. The nuns of the Knot planted this garden of healing herbs in the dawn period. Natan of Regensburg and Gideon de Wolf both expanded it, and the Curia of the Isle tended it. Even the branch and the bureau made use of it in the grim days that Brancrag served as a prison. To that last part, I suspect, based on some clues that were earlier in yesterday's part of the video, that this island was turned into perhaps a prison island by the government during the restoration period where the new king took command. Where this island is, I'm not entirely sure. I'm assuming it is British, it might be Welsh. Yes, we don't have any of the skills needed to make use of the garden. Rosencragen Whiskey. The favorite tipple of Sir David Green, 8th librarian of the Hush House. Let's break that down into smaller glasses. Current affairs. What's happening in the world beyond Bran Crag? What visitors will the season bring? An advertisement from Carter and Harrow. The firm Carter and Harrow, alive to the possibility of commerce, has sent a smudgedly printed catalog addressed to the librarian room. Let's see. Occasionally, special events will pop up like these. These are actually 2 separate events that are popping up at the same time, which is a little unusual. Alright, so once we actually start getting more money, we can use this order form to mail order some supplies. And we'll return the whiskey to this nice little table over here. Unfortunately, not much else was unlocked with this since we can't use the gardens. And given that the weather is clouds, which aren't useful to us either, I'm a little directionless on what we should try and do. I'll go back to try to see if we can open up one of these books and learn anything. Let's also see what's at the tavern. An orchard keeper. They have heart and nectar, which is good. Excellent. Orchard keeper's assistants. In Cornwall, it is quite possible to take a stride from the richest vegetation into the abominament of desolation. It has been said in mockery that Cornwall does not grow wood enough to make coffins for the people. Sabine Baring Gold. Alright, and the orchard keeper. Yes, 2 nectar. She accepts sustenance, beverage, tools, memories, and elements of the soul. It's worth checking this because, like you saw with the rector, sometimes they allow for other things, like the rector with candles. So our health gives 1 nectar, that brings her up to 3. I cannot readily think of a way to get memory with nectar, however. Perhaps if I consider various things. A visitor interested in something rediscovered. Is there someone en route to Hush House? We have the affair of the dappled rose. In the hissing wastes of sand where once stood a city called Mia, another man has died, but he almost made it out. He made it far enough that a goat herd found him, raving to the end about gardens with a flower crushed in his hand. The visitor is interested in this subject. And let's see here. The visitor is Lala Kamiya, huntress, gourmet, occasional bureau consultant. When it can't be killed, and it really needs killing, Kamiya's the one they turn to. She's interested in Rose and Edge. Kamiya prefers food and drink. This is related to the DLC, House of Light. She knows Greek, as do I. She understands crack track. She understands this primal language well enough to read or teach it. She knows Aramaic, as do we. All right. Let's welcome her in. I don't think she'll be interested in any of the accommodations we have, however. As you get more visitors, you can have them stay at the Hush House. This will give you more time to work with them. You can show them books that they might be interested in. You could pay them in a special type of currency to have them teach you things. Let's see what we can do with this. By investigating the flowers, we got Memory Absent, which does give us nectar. So we'll give her the Orchid Keeper Memory Absent. That will bring her up to 4 nectar, which is enough for 2 of the rooms. What else? Yes, that is enough. As for our new visitor, we know she's interested in Edge and Rose. What could we talk to her about? Just going through all of our items currently. All of our books, that is. There's only one with the Rose or Edge aspect that I could find. We'll show her Letters from a Fugitive and see if she has anything to say about it. Oh. It's of no use to her because the book is written in Pythagorean, a language she and we do not know. That's awkward. Well, not much that can be done about that. Let's see, can we read this book that requires 4 lantern? I know we have whist, which gives us at least 1. We have no skill that it can be used with. Or memory. This is looking like a lost cause. Until we get a good memory, that is. Yes, our visitor left, saying, "You and your weather. Your weather is also disappointing." Oh well. We'll get some work at the tavern, and try and figure out something to do with this extra whist we have laying around. Here we go. Gale is the weather. It has heart and sky as its aspects. And as for that room we opened, Scent Garden. Too many dates from the time of the Abbey, but in summer, neither sister nor brothers were permitted to spend more than a single hour here, lest the temptation of savors overwhelm them. I think this is yet another room that we would need a nectar-based skill to do anything with. But we did find a hurricane lamp. Perhaps that could be used. A bottle of Shinshuk mead, which has a very large moth aspect. Alright, hopefully that's worth it. Okay, with a memory with 3 sky, can we read a book now? Alright, sky, harmony. I can master this. The book is 7 Faces of Icarus. In the early 1530s, the last abbot of St. Brandon's, called Roaring Richard, set down his conversations with illiterate local cunning man, Red William. And we can invite back the Orchid Keeper. Let's do so. And see if we can study another plant, since that worked out well last time. It gave us touch, which gives forage instead. We'll have to figure out another way to get +1 nectar. Alright, we have some bread. And now she can open up the walled garden. Iron spikes march along the top of the wall. The gate is rusted shut, but what I can see through the bars is as ruinous as I might expect. About the book. Red William described 7 forms in which he goes about the underworld: viper, cat, fox, eagle, dove, boar, and crow. Abbot Richard ingeniously fits all of these into a framework of scholar belief. According to Abbot Richard, each of Red William's forms is closer to the sun and is increasingly winged with virtue. Richard draws an analogy with the waxen wings of Icarus. Hypocrisy and false virtue will melt before the sun's heat, and so sincerely an untrammeled expression of the self are the utmost piety. It's worth noting that only a year or two after Richard wrote the book, John Tregonwell was so appalled by the debaucheries of the monks at St. Brandon's that he recommended the monastery's immediate dissolution. We get from this memory fear and lesson of furs and feathers, which I will immediately set to learn. Memory fear will be useful for trying to open up one of these rooms required scale or heart. Scale is pretty rare to get. I wonder if that means heart would be better. While we still have time in the day, we'll work at the tavern. Alright, furs and feathers, beasts, birds, husbandry, harvest. Unfortunately, this does not give nectar like I assumed it might. It gives scale and sky. We can work with it though, and it's especially useful because now we can go back to this tree of wisdom and unlock a new skill. And they're all skills that we already have. We don't get a new one. But having 2 heart is probably worth it. For example, we can immediately go beachcombing. We got some pilchards. Another cloudy day. Not very useful to me right now. Yes, we're unable to even get to Lantern 3 for reading. A lot of what we have requires knock, which we have absolutely none of. We have no skill that gives nectar. Yes, this may be a rather difficult start. Although, I do think it took me a fair bit of time to go anywhere the first time I played this game. I have a suspicion. If we use Speak to Mr. K about Forge, that should give him Forge skill, and then he'll be an assistant with Forge, so we can unlock the blacksmith. I think that's how that works. And it is. A mutual acquaintance will introduce me to Denzel the smith. I might get 6 or even 10 words out of him if I am patient. Denzel is a surprising source of practical advice. Now, that memory, foresight to forge. I don't believe we need forge. Oh, for forge unlocks the Grand Descent. That's worth it. So we'll hire on the smith. Blacksmith's assistance. Denzel the blacksmith will lend me his strength for the day, and I'll talk to him about foresight. In the meantime, I'll go for a walk on the moor. And I'll go beachcombing. Alright, Denzel is at 4 forge. I don't believe there was any that required more than 4. Grand Descent, first floor. The windows are tightly closed and the carpet surprisingly clean, but my skin prickles at the watchful presence in the stairwell. It will need to be placated before we go any higher. Help with letters at the tavern. I could offer help with correspondence and arithmetic. There's no school in Brancrag, and not everyone here knows their letters. In the moor, we found quartz. And at the sea we found driftwood. Long ago there was a forest between the waves of Brancrag Bay. The driftwood is not nearly that old, but it shared salt with its lost forerunner. Now, I believe wood is one of the things we can use with Mr. K, so that might actually see use. And yes, the room we open up, the first floor, Grand Ascent. By long tradition, each Baron Brancrag had their image set in a niche in the Grand Ascent. Later, the Curia of the Isle continued the tradition for their librarians. And now we have hail, which has edge and sky. Ice wraps on the roofs and treetops. Sky and edge sounds very useful. But not for opening up any part of the hush house. But still, sky. A good furs and feathers give sky. We have hail. We still lack an element of the soul with sky. Aha! And that tool we unlocked earlier, the oscilloscope? Is that what it's called? Armillary. That's the word. Will get us up to 6 so we can begin reading Ava's Treasury. Very good. In the meantime, can we construct anything? We can produce more Eingru. Can we use Sacralemiae for anything? If we had 2 more moth, we could do something with this telescope. Ah yes, I don't believe I ever read the finished description for Practice Garden. The Practic Garden. In the early days of St. Brandon's Abbey, the brothers practiced the arts of war here. So it was that in the baronial times, the garden became a favorite of the martial, quarrelsome dwarfs. Let's see. More gardens. The first time I played this game, I actually started with a skill at level 2, which was nectar based, so when I unlocked all of these gardens, I always had something to do. Unfortunately, I'm not so lucky this time. Practice garden dummy. Since the Napoleonic War, he has been punched, thrumped, stabbed, and shot by amateurs, by professionals, and by tipsy guests at dinner. No wonder he looks so cross. This is a very good place to practice many edge and winter skills. We see a statue also, although it's not clickable, of Brian DeWolf here. That would be a good clue for determining if we ever found a bust of Brian DeWolf and it didn't specify what his name was. It would give us a way to link the two. Forge and Lantern will be very good for unlocking things. We just need the right memory. All of this is ongoing. I will try and earn some more money doing manual labor. There's not much work on offer at Brancrag, but I can find 6 pence worth of odd jobs. In the moor, we found animal bones. And in reading the book, which was Ava's Treasury, Ava DeWolf, last of the Brancrags, discussed the occult and etheric properties of jewels and other precious minerals. Black Nephite and Sulcleite for nowhere, Orichalc and Amber for yeast, Amethyst for night, key of all the spider door. Ava points out, bitterly, that there is no shortage of uplifting parables and proverbs about the saying graces of a flaw in a jewel, but no one, not jeweler nor priest nor hour, has ever found a way to repair such a flaw. We get memory foresight and lesson abandry and lapidary, which I will immediately learn. Let's see. Lightning is a little life, and jewels are its eyes. Ava DeWolf. Which we can put into the Tree of Wisdom. Thankfully, we get an entirely new element of the soul, Faust. Sight, perception, inspiration, all of the glory's gifts. Sky and Lantern. That will be very, very useful for us. In fact, we're already up to a pretty good spread for aspects just using those. Ah, but we're not quite at being able to get to 5 of any. Sorry, I'm just putting random things in at this point to take a look at them. Okay, 2 sky on a skill. And unfortunately, only +1 from Faust. Faust is better at lantern aspect. I'll make use of it tomorrow. Just getting some of this trash out of my inventory. We have a storm, 4 heart, 4 sky. That's very good for us. Could unlock the infirmary just with that. Or we could be 1 away from Ruinous Hall. Let's see. Ruinous Hall. Let's take a quick look in to see what sort of stuff this has. You can actually see some instruments in here, like a piano. The other thing that we could set to open is the infirmary. Who can we get from the tavern? Excellent, the Orchid Keeper is back. They already have heart, so we'll be able to easily open up the one that requires 5 heart. So that will be the plan. We'll talk to the Orchid Keeper about the storm. In the meantime, I really wish we had herb. Something with a soul aspect with the Grail element. That way we could get Mrs. K to join us. I believe, like Mr. K, she does not actually require money to hire. Yes, with this practice dummy, we can get to 3 scale already, which is too little to make anything that I would wish to make. Well, anyways, I was trying to think about which direction to start going in for progressing. Let me think things over. Yes, now that I have access to the element of the soul Faust, and I believe this is the one that also provides Faust, I can at least get to 2 lantern aspect Ah, no, I was mistaken. This does not provide lantern. I just need a source of +1 lantern for memory or skill, and I can read this book. Sunrise Awakens. When in doubt, just start examining various items. I'll analyze some quartz. What have I learned? Ah, yes, by analyzing the quartz I get touch memory. Not helpful directly. Yes, and I was talking to the Orchid Keeper about the storm, which is enough to get her up to 5 heart. Where was it that I needed that for? The Ruinous Hall. The Ruinous Hall. This place was bright and busy once. It can be again, but it will be grueling work to make it so. Not suitable work for a librarian. Alright, so what can I be doing while those renovations take place? I can't read any books, I believe, so I'll go out to the moor. See if there's anything there. Do beach combing as well. Collect some money from working in town. Alright, the hall should be clear. Servants' Hall. Hendrik de Wolf, 1st Baron of Bruncrag, was granted hush house after the dissolution of St. Brandon's by Old Copper-Nose King Henry VIII. In an act of unusual generosity for the tight-fisted king, the grant came with the title of Baron, and right cit regale, like a king, the quasi-independence traditionally accorded to marcher lords. Hendrik was clearly determined to live as befitting his new rank, and he expanded the house accordingly to support sufficient staff. Inside the hall, we find a loom, and there were golden threads they wove, and in the moon's house fast they tied them. From the Lay of Halgi, Ansbren. And here, yes, it's another workstation for Heart, Moth, Nectar, and Rose. An inscribed clock, a gift from Sir David Green to a favored retainer. Servants' Hall fireplace. And, oh yes, we have that reminder that, the Trust had sent us. Goodbye. That can go in the fire. A bronze knife. A long knife of aged darkened metal with a teak handle inlaid with bone. It could be a hunting knife, although it's certainly no older than the 19th century, and it's not clear why anyone might have chosen to make a hunting knife out of bronze in the 19th century. Very usefully, this is a tool with winter, nectar, grail, and edge aspects. That will be incredibly useful. I will even probably keep it in my inventory. A pigeon statuette. Beautifully enameled little image. The maker's mark is AW. Contraband. We'll unwrap that. misshapen fruit, salvaged windfalls, lumpy but tasty. This room will probably be a good place to store food for now. Warmly colored yams. Sorry, yarns, not yams. Rather different. Can I put this over by the loom? No. Midnight mark. A blemish left on a page, or a skin, by careful incision, or a judicious sting, to preserve a little of the power of night. It is a mark, unstable trace. I do not know what the aspect mark is used for. I do not recall it. Instrument. Piano. A gift from Kitty Marazine, who would sometimes pop by of an evening to sing. But her successor Solomon, never one for music, disliked the way its notes would drift up the stairs to the reading room, and forbade the staff to play their piano before sunset. Let's see, it allows us to add omens and sounds as a workstation. It has sky and moth as its aspect. And it has slots for 2 memory. That's very useful. But not for me, not right now. We'll be able to work on Ruined Kitchen in time. All right. In the moor, we found blackberries. On the beach, we found some more fish. By burning the correspondence, we got memory sight. I'll have to remember that we can burn things for memories that have lantern. It seems useful. And we got 6 pence from the tavern. Let's see if I can work there a little bit more today. We've been burning through money recently. I figured by examining the... Oh, I see. It turned from contraband to a tall parcel. That's odd. I just wanted to open it. And we'll go on to the next day. Okay, for the weather, we have rain for Nectar and Grail. Interesting. Only 1 use for nectar, and it requires 5, which is quite a lot. But we'll hire the Orchid Keeper and see what we can do. I wonder what happens if we consider the knife. It says, the tang is engraved with the letters TB. The bone has absorbed a dark stain that might be old blood, or might be old strawberries. I like that there is a little bit more of extra detail there. That's nice. Ah, we can give the Orchid Keeper the knife. Hopefully that she returns it after. She did, yes. And then we can open up Grand Descent, 2nd floor. It is unexpectedly difficult to rise my foot up to the last step before the landing. Leaf shadows drift across my sight, and the windows hiss and rattle. I have heard that Gervinus von Loren, last librarian before me, was skilled at the forbidding of ways. By unwrapping that parcel, we found some more whiskey. We'll put that away for now. And open up another parcel. I suppose we'll do some more exploring. And beachcombing. And work in the tavern. And wait for the renovations to be done. Now we have Grand Descent, 2nd floor. By long tradition, each Baron Brancrag had their image set in a niche. Later, the Curia of the Isle continued this tradition. That was the same for the floor underneath it, actually. Yes, it is. Alright, in the other parcel we found, Elderflower Cordial. We'll do some more work at the tavern, and let the day end. In the moors, we found some mushrooms. And on the beach, we found sand. No reason to keep the sand in our inventory. With the end of the day, a little bit more money, and having explored several more rooms of the Hush House, I think we'll call it there for today's stream. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope you have a wonderful day.